Africa is fast becoming a hub of agricultural technology.
Right now we have approximately about 460 specific digital agri-tech solutions that are being used by approximately about 33 million smallholder farmers and pastoralists on the continent. So there's really been a significant increase in the use of digital. In terms of funding as well, in 2020, equity funding for the agri-tech sector was roughly about 180 million. So if you compare over the last 10 years, this is phenomenal.
By 2030, the sector is projected to be a $1 trillion industry, according to Africa Practice, a strategic advisory firm.
The agtech scene is really exciting, and I think East Africa is at one of the frontiers where there's a lot of innovation, a lot of new companies coming up trying to tackle the challenge of productivity in agriculture.
Artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and improved technical solutions are helping amp up land productivity.
The other space is what we call the first mile challenge. From farm to market, the whole supply chain and getting product to market in an efficient way is the other challenge. And there you see a lot of innovation around digitalization of value chains and supply chains, but also access to finance and other sort of solutions, mobile apps for farmers, and linking farmers to markets through trading platforms.
Founded in Kenya 8 years ago, Twiga Foods' B2B platform aims to streamline the food supply chain.
We think of ourselves as an e-commerce business that's actually solving the problem of food security in urban areas. There's a lot of inefficiency across the entire supply chain, from how things are produced to how things are actually transported, warehoused, and actually sold. And because of that, consumers are paying significantly higher prices on the continent. So what a company like Twiga does is that we leverage technology to start aggregating this informal demand in the retail industry and start building supply chains, more efficient supply chains that actually supply into the retail industry. We have about 130,000 retail customers on our platform. We're shipping about 600 metric tons of produce every day. We've just built a state-of-the-art distribution center that should see us close to 10x our capacity locally to about 5,000 metric tons of produce. This allows us to ship to every customer that orders from our platform within 24 hours across the country.
Denside Farm is a medium-sized farm located in Joro. We have cereals and vegetables when we are outsourced by different companies to do different products for them. We have some of the products going to the export market, and some of those other things are for the local market.
Today, Twiga is collecting the farm's potato harvest. Tech-enabled, Twiga's field team shares real-time updates on transport status for fast turnaround to city vendors. For farmers, it can be a more stable route to market.
Most farmers, you can never go to the market directly. They are brokers. When Twiga comes on board, we eliminate the broker, and so we are able to get a better price with Twiga because our price is predetermined before harvest and at the point of planting. So we don't have the worry of having to look for market and also to look for price, to even decide what acreage are you going to do, so that because I know what price I'm getting at the end of the day, so I'm able to plan what acreage am I doing and what do I want to do to attain my financial goal.
In the urban areas, vendors can order on Twiga's mobile app, which has seen significant uptake since the beginning of the pandemic.
Just to give you context, September of 2020, only 25% of our revenue was through our mobile app. Last month, that number is up to 75%. Which is a huge transformation within a very, very short span of time.
Twiga plans to expand its e-commerce platform to Tanzania and Uganda this year. And on the horizon, wider frontiers.
The challenges that you see in Kenya are challenges that are replicated across the continent. So, and when I look at the size of informal retail across the continent, it's a $700 billion opportunity. We think of ourselves as having 3 clusters or 4 clusters in the long term. So we're going to have an East African cluster, We're going to have our Central Africa cluster, which will be centered around the Democratic Republic of Congo, mainly DRC. We're really, really excited about that market, a lot of opportunity. And also we're looking at our West African cluster, which will be centered around Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana, which allows us then to access all the adjacent markets around there.
About 2/3 of the farmers who are using these solutions across the continent, they're actually based within the East African region. However, many of these companies, as we move now with the new African Continental Free Trade Area, this is much more easier to actually apply some of these solutions, across borders.
Injonjo says Twigger is venturing into loans, data and analytics, competing with the new crop of companies that are also broadening their roles.
I do think there is still quite a lot of competition in this space. So for those of us who live in Kenya, products are very expensive. And so the more competition and the more sort of innovation that's coming out of these ag techs in the way that it is with e-commerce type solutions, I think that's just very disruptive, and I think very good for the consumer and the farmer in East Africa and Kenya.
We have an annual agri-pitch competition in the bank, and I would say about 70% of these agripreneurs, about 70% of the products that come in are actual, agri-tech services.
With 85% of farmers expected to use mobile-based solutions by 2030, agtech is a field that is open for competition.